Testing, is the mic okay? Just a little bit afraid that the whatever that's broken in my room currently is picking up. I did set filters, so I hope it's fine. And yes, for everyone else who is wondering why your author has suddenly changed gender, it's not it. It's because I'm using a voice filter because I feel extra gay today, which is why I have this very nice VTuber avatar that's kind of free. Ice Prince, but yeah, enough of that. Right, so anyone else who did not manage to catch this stream and you're watching on playback, don't worry. Leave your questions somewhere that I can find you and reply to, and I'll get to it like ASAP. So today I will be going through a little bit about the different kind of platforms that I have personally used and tested, as well as the competitions that they usually host, and why you should and should not join a competition, like a writing competition for your debut as an author. Ice cream is good for the soul. I mean, it depends if you are not lactose intolerant. Yeah, that's fine. I'm a little bit lactose intolerant, so I try to not eat as much, if that makes sense. Okay, so okay, the chat is working as well. Everything else seems to be fine. So for my students, if you are catching this stream, uh basically it's not kid friendly, so you might not be able to comment using your YouTube account. It's fine. You can find me on Discord or something else. So we're almost there at 8:30. Thank you for like coming despite the short notice. So today would be me going through like the basics of everything that's going to happen for you to know. So the stream, I don't know how long it's going to last. Feel free to leave any questions in the chat. I will come back regularly to come and see if there are questions from people as I move along. So some of the main platforms, I'm going to cover 3 of them today. They're going to be Webnovel, they're going to be Goodnovel, as well as story writing. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, story writing is actually the parent company for Dreame as well as Ringdom and a few others. So it's a collection of it, which I will go through a little bit in depth because there are some people who write on Dreame as well. I personally have not written on Dreame, but their backend system is actually great. I kind of like gave them a lengthy email for feedback on the UI there, so they kind of improved on that. But I have not like gotten contracted and posted anything there for a while now, about a year or two. Yeah, I might go back because I will also talk about the different types of contracts that you will sign as you join competitions. So many of them, they require you to sign either an exclusive or non-exclusive, and I'll explain that in detail with the help of the blog that I've written on my website. So if you need links and everything, please do check them out. I might drop it, I might not drop it. I mean, the links should all be in this video's description. Just click on it, go search. Right, so the time now is 8:29, almost 8:30, so I shall start. Alright, give me a second. There we go. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to show you a little bit more details about how you can find resources to help yourself if it is not a topic that has already been covered on my blog. Yes, this is my blog, so this is the website. Just click on it, go to blogs, and you'll see everything over here. So if the topic has not already been covered in my blog via the search, you can let me know so that I can cover it if I know something about it. A lot of things here are for new authors, not for authors who have already went through the journey and established themselves. So it's a mix of different topics basically. I don't think I have a lot of them, but I will show you the more important ones right now that I will be going through today. I need to scroll all the way down. I should have loaded this before that, but anyways. So there are a few things that you need to read first before, if you are like completely new to this web fiction world. Web fiction is not a little bit, very different from self-publishing and traditional publishing. So before I go into that, let me just like break it down. Traditional publishing is the one that turns into books by the, publishing house itself, all the paper books that you kind of see in the bookstores. Yes, those are traditionally published books with mega houses like print houses. Okay, and then you have your self-published, and most commonly you will publish it with Amazon KDP, create space whereby you can write your manuscript, upload it, upload a cover, use their whatever cover creators and whatnot, and then it just sells from there. Okay. Then the third is actually web fiction. So web fictions were kind of like popularized by Wattpad, but not so, because Wattpad is kind of like a serialization for fan fictions, like way before. And then they moved on to original works, which honestly, if you are not writing female lead romances, female lead genres targeted at female readers, it's not gonna stand out very well in Wattpad. So some of the things that I will cover here. Okay, the first one that you have to read is this. Where is it? Yeah, it's about the different platforms that I've covered before. Okay, so first you need to decide on the platform that you want to be publishing on. So here, e-fiction platforms review. This is one of it. And the second one is here, e-fiction platform reviews part 2. Why 2 parts? Simply because, can you see the read time? It's like 8 minutes for this, 9 minutes for this. It's very intensive. I can just show you. Okay, part 1 should be, okay, it's because web fiction is split between male genres and female genres. Okay, when I say that, I'm not being sexist. It's just how the web fiction world kind of works. Like, they target romances to female audiences, although not all female audiences are there for the romance. Generally, think of it as romance and everything that's not romance. So when I say FL, I mean romance, and when I say ML, I mean everything else that's not romance, and the subgenres under it. So, okay, this is for, as you can see, female lead. And female lead considers LGBTQ genres in this umbrella of romance. These are the kind of things that I have given reviews and all. So recommendations, reviews, links, yeah, you can go and check all these. So these 2 blocks you should read first to understand the kind of platforms that you're looking at. Secondly, once you're done reading that blog about the different platforms, it's time for you to choose the kind of platforms and look at the kind of competitions that you should be going into. Okay, before you start a competition or like writing anything, read this one first. Where is it? I remembered covering this. 5 things you need to know. This one is one of the more popular books. Okay, 5 things you need to know before participating in the Webnovel Spirity Award competition. So this is specifically for WSA. So I have seen it happen twice, but I think I've only participated in it once, which was the previous year, where, yeah, it was the previous year, not the one that JK has won. Yeah, 2021, I think. So these are the 5 things that you should know. I've briefly covered some of these points in my previous live stream, a 15-minute live stream talking about tips for people who want to like go into. So these are some of the things that you might want to know. Okay, read this as well. And then after that, you decide on the different kinds of contracts. Read this block. I have actually went through all of these before. Right, so exclusive and non-exclusive contracts for writing web novels, not just web novels, but web fictions. Like, all web fiction companies offer similar terms. Okay, there might be differences in payouts and commitment levels and whatnot, but the main thing about exclusive and non-exclusive means that exclusive, you are not allowed to publish elsewhere your works as well as the related world that you've built for these works, and characters, any parts, spin-offs and whatnot are under exclusive rights, so you cannot bring it out anywhere else. Non-exclusive works, on the other hand, you can bring it to as many platforms as you want, but here's the catch. Some platforms require you to post it on their platform first before you are allowed to post elsewhere. And a lot of them do not offer you payouts. Some do one-time payouts above certain number of words. Like, for example, Goodnovel offers you USD 50 upon completion of a non-exclusive work that is above 80,000 words. So that's Goodnovel itself, which is what I love, and I am a huge fan of their non-exclusive contracts. And then, yeah, some non-exclusive contracts do not allow you to put partially published works. Like, some writers, they put special scenes on Patreon, but the non-exclusive contract requires them to be published inside some, not all. Alright, so read this. These are kind of like all the like see distribution rights. I have written this and most of it are still applicable. Not all, but on the date of writing until now, nothing much has changed. Read this so you know what you're getting into. It is against the contract laws for me to kind of like disclose the terms in specific of what your reparations and whatever are not. So the gist of it is this. So decide carefully if this work is something that you want to publish on the platform exclusively or you want to take it off. Okay. Most people sign on a work exclusively for two reasons. Firstly, they have no desire to create a bigger fan base elsewhere on other platforms. Secondly, because after you sign an exclusive contract, you will get payouts in advance. For example, the MGS schemes and whatnots. I think I've written it somewhere here as well. Let me find it. Where's my MGS? Okay, there are tips for writing MGS. Where is it? Is it this one? No. This. Okay, so 5 questions about my Webnovel MGS experience. In here, I talk about the MGS itself. So is this sustainable? How much does it pay out? What are the terms and conditions? What are the things that you need to do for it? Okay, it depends on the platform. Again, it depends on the terms of the platform when you're signing the exclusive. And you need to decide. Most of the time, MGS gives you a small, like, kind of pocket change for the works that you write, and you literally have to be like a printing factory. So if you do not have a stockpile and you are a slow writer and you cannot commit to writing daily about 1,500 to 2,000 words, MGS, a minimum guarantee scheme, and like, you know, future payouts is a bad deal for you. So I would recommend that you do not sign exclusively. Most writers sign exclusively because they depend on this MGS scheme to pay them for their bills, which honestly I don't. So I don't need this. But if you are like in a country that MGS USD 200 can kind of like feed you and your family or give you like some pocket money for your college fees, yes, you can consider it. It's not hard because they just go by word count. It's not really much of quality, I might say. It's a little bit sad, but no web fiction platform puts a lot of emphasis on quality. So that kind of sucks. But it is a good chance for budding authors to actually get to experience writing a full work and get feedback for it at the same time. So if you have not actually written for like publishing houses or self-published before, you can try this first and then convert it later. So I've written so many of these blogs. Okay, I've also written a blog about converting your your web novel into an Amazon self-published paperback or Kindle. Where is it? I'm pretty sure I wrote it. It's somewhat recent because Egos was pushed back for like the longest time. I don't even know where it is right now. I'm just scrolling up and down. I can't find it. I can't find it. No, not this. Oh my god, where is it? From Webnovel to Kindle. There you go. Okay, so this one and this one, these two are guides. So this one is about things to take note. So there is subtle differences from web novel to Kindle, especially in the word count and target audiences. So like lengths, writing style, chapters, and whatever not. Of course, these are a little bit more flexible based on the writer's preference. But yeah, okay, you can read this. And if you have taken note of all these things, this is the steps on how to do it. So I have like, kindly written down guided like steps for how, oh my god, okay, for how you do this thing. And then you feel like, oh my god, I don't know how to edit my stuff for that. Don't worry, okay, there's this thing as well. Okay, do you need to hire a proofreader or editor? Can you read this blog to know if you need professional help or if you're there and you can do it alone? Or you can even read this one. Where is it? Mess editing for. Where's my mess editing blog? Mess editing for mass release. My editing process for mass release. So you can read this blog as well. It teaches you how to streamline an editing process after you've written. So writing is not just writing, oh, I'm done and I hit publish. No, 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 no. You need to go through checks, like a lot of checks, because there are things like plot holes that you miss out on. There can be things like typos, which I'm a great offender of. There can be things like your grammar doesn't really run well. So these are some of the things that you can do and some steps to make it easier. Of course, there are different kinds of editing. For example, I'm not talking about line editing. I'm kind of talking like proofreading. So it's a gentle editing. Don't heavily edit because you will spend too much time. Your focus when you're doing an MGS and writing for a competition, because you have a tight deadline, is to complete the word count to qualify for the competition. And the quality, well, like I said, web fictions are not very heavily emphasizing on the quality of work. Of course, they need to be engaging, but it's not so much of the writing technicalities that they care about or the craft of work. Like, traditional publishers, yeah, they will reject the manuscript if it's not scripted and not crafted properly, but it's not the case. Oh, okay, yeah, thanks for the tip. Okay, if I can use Control F, yeah, but I don't exactly recall everything, so I am like scrolling because I kind of see some, but I kind of don't see some. And then there are like, useful tips like, should I buy Grammarly Premium? Okay. Short answer is, if you have no money and you just started writing, nope, just use the free one. When you start making a little money and you actually are good enough to do without an editor, yes, you should get Premium because you know what kind of grammar rules to break. If you still do not know, then don't buy. Right, so all these things. And then once you have decided, okay, I have done all my research for all the different kinds of platforms, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I have a competition in mind that I wish to participate in. After looking at all the genres, I'm gonna design one now. So you can read this blog on how to design one. Right, so this is how to create a best-selling, the creation stage of it. So I have a video as well, which is here, and it's on YouTube as well. And if you have no time, these are like the summary of it. And then there's a part 2 of this, which is over here, which is how to create it in the publishing stage. So there are like 2 parts of it. Read all these things. And for a lot of people who are like, but I'm not exactly kind of a mainstream writer, oh, this is for you. I've written it before. Again, it's catfishing. It's also a stream actually. So I first explained what is mainstream and what is niche. There is also a video, so you can check it out. And if you have no time to check it out, just read the blog. It's all here. Like, my god, okay, it's like summarized all here. Literally all here. So you can take time to read this. It's less than 10 minutes. And then you can move on to this blog over here, which is the art of catfishing. For niche authors, for example, if your competition requires werewolf and you are like, but I don't write werewolves, I like writing about ghosts, and they have no ghost competition, well, you can choose to compromise and get in a competition for a chance to win like one of their prizes. Okay, don't hope for it, but you can modify a little bit more, like just a silver of werewolf in it will do as well. Putting the right words in a search term helps you market your book better than the channel will, like the platform itself. They will give you promotion slots and whatnot, but the features will not guarantee the views if you do not know how to market your work well. So these over here are some of the tips to help you increase your readership in a competition. Let me repeat this: in a competition. It is not a must, but it is highly encouraged if you've decided to join a competition. It's only applicable, again, for a competition. If you just want to write for exposure, do whatever you want. You don't have to do this. But if you're writing for a competition, you need to do this. Why? Because these web fiction platforms host a competition to increase their reader base with more potential for content creators to bring them that money. That's it. If you are not creating content that will sell, it doesn't work for them, it will not work for you. That's why the competition is created as a carnival or an attraction fair for people who spend money. That's it. If you don't write something that makes money, there's no point joining competition, because the platform will not favor you over those real money makers. It's not about the quality of content, it's not about the originality, it's about the popularity that brings in the mullah, if you get what I mean. That is the only reason why you should be joining competition: to win, to make money, and to create a community of readers for those of you who are not, you know, You've just started, nobody knows your name, you need some platform to get your name out there, to show the world what you can do. Yes, these are some of the reasons that you would write for a competition, join a competition, not anything else. There has to be some sort of mutual benefit between you as a competition writer participating in an event that the website hosts. If there is no benefit, don't join. So I think I've answered the topic of the stream today. So should you join a web fiction writing competition? If there is a benefit, you can join. If there is no benefit for you, there's no point joining. Really, you can just write leisurely without a competition, it's fine. Right? So it is the easiest way to gain readers from competition itself. Like, not gonna lie, writing for Webnovel for 2 years did more than writing for Amazon in an unknown market full of other writers. Yeah, so it just to each their own, I guess. But I'm a very niche author, so even being on Webnovel itself, attracting all their niche readers, I'm still bottom feeder. Alright, so without further ado, let's go to these three platforms that I'm going to talk about today. The first, I briefly covered in the previous stream, is Webnovel. So you can see Webnovel WeTV, it's owned by Tencent. This is their submission guidelines and whatever not. So please note that the competition has already started. The linky to the competition should be in my video itself. So you can click to join if this interests you. Webnovel is funded by Tencent because they're kind of owned by Tencent. Okay, so gold price 10,000 USD and all the billboards and everything. So last year they did it in New York. This year they're kind of doing it in London. I don't really know, but okay. And then they're like, oh, we're gonna make it a KDP. We're gonna have a ceremony and whatever not, cash prize and yes, and then nomination prizes. So these are all the things. If you are interested, you can look at it, but don't be hopeful. And then these are the themes. So many people are like, oh my god, what kind of things should I be writing for? Yes, okay. Previously, Webnovel was very strict on the participating criteria. This year, they're a little bit more open to it, so you can basically write anything you want. But they would recommend you to stick within the more mainstream topics, which is why catfishing would be great. So these are the things. Okay, let's take a look. So gaming, some of these things have been going on. So you have your VR chats and whatever not. I think Avatar Online, which was the silver prize for last year's WSA, is one of these topics, gaming itself. VR or gaming, I can't remember. So video games, it can be esports, it can be virtual reality, it can be a lot of these things that coming up, like Sword Art Online, it's heavily popularized from there. Gaming is one of them. New tropes. This is the others category, which is why I say of the 9 themes that exist, you can basically write anything you want for web novels competition. If you don't have any of the mainstream things and you're like, oh my god, I have this really great idea that I want to participate in, but it's none of these, just put it under new tropes. Nobody will fault you for it. So this, you can be really, really way off mainstream topic, and if it sells, it still qualifies. And werewolf is kind of like a FL base dedicated for it, but of course, like I say in the previous stream, you can do system werewolf, like my werewolf system, written by JKS. He definitely does not write FL in my werewolf system, but he combined this main trope with another main trope called system, and it kind of works. So this is just a suggestion. Again, the theme does not really tell you what you can and can't do. It's just a suggestion. Next one is Monster and Beast. So this one is like the what's that? No, I suddenly can't remember. By Reno Z. Is it Chrysalis? Something like this. Yeah, those are like evolution kind of thing, you know? Monsters and Beasts evolution, dragons, demons? No, I'm not sure. Okay, something like that. Then yeah, so it just basically a lot of those things that you see in translated novels. Okay, and then you have these very FL centric billionaire CEO mafia bad boy kind of thing, rich and bad. Yeah, that's the allure of those 50 Shades kind of stuff. But of course, there are also things that the ML community likes to write about. So I've seen someone wrote a story called My CEO System, something like this. It's just all over the place, but yeah. So feel free. System everybody knows system. If you not watched, if you read Solo Leveling, you know exactly what it is. So weak to strong is a very popular thing on web novel itself. I highly recommend it if you are trying to do this system. I'm not very good at it, so True Dawn is actually better at it. He designs system with all these numbers on a spreadsheet that I can't possibly understand. So if you are interested, go to my YouTube, go and search for my live stream with True Dawn. You'll see what I'm talking about. I just can't. So his system was reincarnated as a stick. And that was hilarious. But yeah, it's very original. It's definitely system. It's mainstream. It's popular. It's good. It sells. The next is historical. So, if you're a web novel, 90% of the time, historical refers to ancient China with all your Qin dynasty, Tang dynasty, and all your palace romances. But again, it is not limited to romance, and it is also not limited to China. So bear in mind, if you do not know a single thing about Chinese and you don't want to be flamed for historical inaccuracies in your fiction work, you can always choose historical in a different setting, like for example the medieval times, or like the Shakespearean era, or historical as in like just the caveman days. I don't know, it's up to you. As long as it's a real history, like way past that, Victorian times, something like this, it's fine. And most times historical revolves around the hierarchy kind of thing, like your kings and your peasants. Yeah, those kind of things actually stick out a lot. You can consider it if you are into writing those things, which I'm not, so I'm gonna skip. Right, and then fantasy is mainstream everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. If you are in like bookstore, if you are on Amazon, or if you're on web fiction, fantasy is a staple everywhere. But the different kind of fantasy in here on web novel, it lies in this tag called isekai, which originated from Japanese like novel tropes. So basically, someone drives a truck, someone bangs someone else, and the someone else who dies after they get banged, like they got knocked down and killed by a truck, they go into a different fantasy world. That trope is extremely popular, which honestly, anybody who writes a main character who dies in like chapter 1 and finds himself or herself in a new world qualifies for this topic just automatically. You don't have to think. It's no brainer. And then teen is kind of new because I haven't seen this like in previous web novel competitions, but it's an up and coming thing. So it's like a very high school kind of rosy, fluffy, and yeah, just no brainer kind of romance. So basically, it's romance. It's very hard for you to write teen without romance. So if you can find a way to do that, go for it. Just go for it. Right. So these are all the themes that I've covered. Now, once you've decided on the theme that you want to participate for, know that your work can only be nominated for one of these subgenres. You cannot say, oh, because I have system and I have werewolf, I'm going to participate in both. No. But what you can do is you can write two different works to participate in two different categories to increase your chance for a nomination or an award. But every author is only entitled to win in one category. So you can write two and they've both become like super popular, but you can only win in one category. That is the rules. Read more about the rules yourself. Okay, find out writing guide, FAQs, and all these. Okay, one thing that's different about WSA this year is that they have Thai and they have Indonesian language. So I'm pretty sure if it's in Indonesian, Miss Reality Bites is gonna be a winner. Hands down, because she has a very huge fan base and she writes well. Right, so this is WSA in itself. If you are not interested in WSA, which is hosted by Webnovel yearly, like once a year, and it lasts for 6 months. If you miss that, don't worry. There are opportunities weekly. It's smaller, but the chances of you actually getting a contract through it is more. So this is okay, this is like my account, but you can create a Webnovel account as a reader and as a writer. Under your inbox and events, there's always all these news push feeds that not many people read because most of it are spams, but the one that you have to pay attention to is this one. Oops. Writing prompts contest. Every week they come out with one new thing and it lasts for 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to create a new book using the prompts that they've given you. So I will just click into this, okay, to show you. So for example, this is a 281st and 282nd writing competition. Every week they host one and they have not stopped. for like, for a few years now. So it's 280 weeks, right? So female lead, they ask you to write secret identity, and then they give you all these things over here. So you can join. Can you see all these? So these are people who actually join, and then there are like, awards and whatever. Now I think I've won before. I can't remember. I think it was Eagles. Yeah, and then I dropped. Right? It's not difficult to win this competition, and if you do not win, it's fine. You can just drop it. It's fine. You can just drop the book itself and then re-participate in a new one so that you can get a contract. So some of the prizes here, okay, everybody's looking at Go because why? They will promote you on their Instagram page. I do not know if they still do it. I think so, but it's not as frequent right now, and they don't actually tag the authors, so that's kind of sucky. Anyway, I blame the marketing team. And then there is also this thing called book cover, which means, okay, most times we go to Pinterest, we rip off an image, and then after we add a title on Paint or Microsoft PowerPoint, then we just upload it. Yes or no? Okay, these are the poor writer standards. So what they do for book cover is they do professional edits, or so they call it, which kind of saves you time from actually deciding on a book cover, which I don't know. To some people, it's important. Some people are like, meh, I can do this better by myself. So these are the awards that you will receive. And know that exposure package, this is the one that many people want. Because when you start a new book on Webnovel itself, chances are you are unknown. Not many people actually know what you do or who you are. It's great for new authors who have never written before, but you want to create like a portfolio. This is it. And then a chance to sign a contract. Many novels do not get contracts outside of competition. They have to wait for like an absurd amount of time to get noticed. So without the views, without the exposure, it is very difficult for Webnovel to give you a contract, no matter how great you write. If you do not have views, the platform is unlikely to give you a contract for new authors. Like you just create an account yesterday and you want a contract today, it's not gonna happen. Okay, it doesn't even happen if you write outside of competition and 6 months down the road you have like 12 views. Webnovel's not gonna give you a contract like that. No, you need to have like a minimum of like, I can't remember, but like 1,000 collections and maybe 100,000 views, something like this. These things take time and it's difficult to get them without exposure, which is why a lot of people, once they get contracted on Webnovel, the future contracts come easier because they have an outstanding reader base that will follow the authors to a new book to check it out. That's how the bigger authors actually do it. So this is something I would recommend if you do not want to jostle with all the big players who are going to join the WSA. You can join the WPC instead. So this contest will take 2 weeks and the final winners will be announced. So your submission should be about 20k words because that is important for the readers to actually decide, is this worth reading, like worth developing in the future, and for the editors to know if there is selling potential. So not just the quality of it, you need to have selling potential for the readers to like it, which is not really considered in the voting. Okay, votes are important, but votes are not everything. So chances are, if you're gonna write this, you're gonna have to market yourself. You're gonna have to do review swaps. You're gonna have to ask people to vote for your books itself, so that they have higher visibility that more people can get to. So these are some of the things, and then they have this chapter word length and count. You can read this in your own time. So yeah, this is something that I'll recommend. And if they don't have the themes that you like, for example, merely is sci-fi, and you're like, oh, but I'm waiting for a vampire one, don't worry, it will come. You just have to constantly check it out. It renews itself. Like there's a new one every week. That it will definitely come. Okay, and then this are like the winners. So let me just show you the results of this. It is possible to win. So some of them are old names, some of them are new names, a lot of them are new names, right? And the editors actually leave comments here, like for example, gold prize, silver prize, bronze prize. There can be more than 3, as you can see over here. So the editor actually leave comments on this kind of thing. So Sharon said, great balancing act of tension and relief, and definitely most unique premise of this week's theme. Cleverly delivered concept, and she looks forward to reading about it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so these are the kind of things that the editors are looking for. If you do not know the winning criteria, go and look at the past winners and what the editors said about them. All right, male editors, these are the ones. So as you can see, there's only silver, then bronze, there is no gold. It can happen. It can happen. Right, and then this is what they said. So JJ say interesting world system, but do cut down on usage of sound effects. And then yeah, so you can learn from other people's attempts before you try and create your own. So it's an interesting concept and characters, very good description and writing, and then you can actually visit the winner's works to go and read. Yeah, so this is theirs. Right, so this is for Webnovel. Do I have any questions before I move on? Okay, someone in the chat says that they got a contract with 200 collections and 20k views. I don't know, maybe because they see premise for the growth. The guidelines actually change very frequently. So the last time when I talk about 1000 collections and 100k views, something like that, it's like from 2 years ago, you know? I haven't recently gotten contracted outside of a competition, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, if it's only 200 collections and 20k views, I think there is promise for like a lot of people who don't want to join a competition to get there. It just takes a little bit of time and like, self-marketing. A lot of swaps, a lot of like, shares and reviews and social media presences. Yeah, those are going to help you in the long run. So are there any questions about Webnovel in the first place? Otherwise, I'm going to like move on to a different platform, which is Goodnovel. Okay, Goodnovel is a little bit different. Goodnovel is FL oriented, although Goodnovel has been looking to branch into ML, which honestly I have launched ML there. Godfather World is definitely ML, and yeah, it has some kind of reaction, like they are hungry for ML works, but it will take time for you to actually see the returns on it compared to their overly saturated werewolf FL kind of genres. If you write FL genres, this might be a good place for you, as well as Dreamy. If you write ML, I would suggest going to Webnovel and sticking with it unless you are willing to explore with a non-exclusive contract with Goodnovel. And yes, Webnovel has non-exclusive contracts, but it is being sublet out to different companies, two from what I recall. One is A&D, the other one is EMP, but both these platforms are using share stories provision. Wow, bikrista. Somebody subscribe. I don't know who, but whoever you are, thank you. Okay. Non-exclusive contracts exist for Webnovel itself, but it is being sublet out to two companies. It depends on EMP and A&D, but both of them use the publishing platform medium called Share Story, which you'll have to join. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky to explain. Okay, what I found out was that both of these companies offer very different terms for non-exclusives, and it is up to you to read their contracts and terms and conditions. But Share Story in itself is the platform that both these companies use. You can create an account. No, actually no. You can't create an account. You need to contact this person called Valerie first before they can create an account for you to log into and publish your books. You can publish it there, but it will not be launched unless Share Story links it with Webnovel, which is very strange. Okay, let me just show you what I mean. It's faster for me to show you. It's crazy. Okay, so this is my profile. If I go into my library, don't ask me why I put this here. It's because it's easy. So this is the book that I have done with Aina as a co-writer. Okay, let me just go to this. Okay, there is a difference between this and the ones that originally exist. Okay, so Monarch of Solitude is exclusive and Webnovel organic. So you can see that on the author, there's this hyperlink to click. And if I click it here, it goes straight to my profile. But in this work, my Webnovel, my Mafia, the title is a pain. The Mafia boss is my Webnovel fan, okay? Under here, everything else looks the same except here in the author, Aina Wang cannot be clicked on. But if you search Aina Wang, they exist. It's just not tied in. Can you see this? My co-author has a profile as well. So these are her original books. Okay, but it is not linked. Why? Because it is not published by her on this platform, which also means we cannot see your reviews, we cannot see your comments when we publish it. There is also no marketing. Can you see these views here? It is basically we have to self-market when we do non-exclusive contracts. So it's a little bit painful, but if you are cross posting it to different platforms, I don't see an issue with that. You can consider it, like highly consider it. So far, do I have any questions about these platform differences, non-exclusives and whatnot? I think it's pretty clear. So if anybody is actually interested in non-exclusive with Webnovel itself, you have to go and contact EMP, you have to go and contact AMD, you have to go and contact this person on Discord called Valerie from Share Story to actually know more. I cannot pass you the links because it's a private server invitation that's kind of like expired use or something. Yeah, so you have to go the long road to find them. The easiest way is to hit up one of the Webnovel editors and ask them for a reference. They will give you the recommendation if you are keen. Okay, so enough of Webnovel. Okay, for Cherished G, what is the plus of non-exclusive? What is the plus of non-X anywhere? Please go and read my blog. In the beginning of my stream, I already talked about it. It is all here. So it is literally here. Search it up. You will see this. Exclusive and non-exclusive for web novels. I have talked all about it over here. So you can decide for yourself which one to go for. Ken, any questions? My blog is like the holy bible for all newbie writers who have no idea what you're doing. Okay, just rewind a little bit to watch it. You'll get it. Alright, and then this is Goodnovel. Okay, Goodnovel is a little bit different. So, Goodnovel is a little bit good, a little bit crazy, a little bit, not so commonsensical. It takes time to get used to it. So the UI was cancer. It's still kind of cancerous, but I will not go into details on it. The app is also a little bit wonky, and you cannot see reviews or comments. I have submitted that suggestion, but I don't know when they will do it. And the contracting process is also complicated because it depends on the editor that you are assigned. Some editors are just assholes. Some editors are kind. It depends on your luck, honestly. So long story short, I created a work for a Goodnovel for a contest based on Sanska's suggestion to do werewolves. And I used a secondary account. So I created a new account and I did it. And the editor that I have for my second account was shit. I just say that because I re-uploaded the same work on my main account and it went through without a fuss. So the editor that I have, her name is Jessica. She's completely biased. Another very biased editor is Ava Smith, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so Goodnovel doesn't actually have an office. They are like an incorporated company in Singapore, but the editors actually work online because they are located in different countries. They're like in Hong Kong, in Philippines, in India, in just all over the world. So they don't actually have communication, unlike the Webnovel office that is located in Singapore, and the editors actually go to the office and they know each other and they see each other and they communicate with each other about different writers, and they have a standardized working system. Goodnovel doesn't have that. Okay, I can't say the same about Dreame because I know they have an office, kind of, but their communication and the whatever not. Back then, I wrote for Ringdom. I did not write for Dreame, but they share the same office under the same parent company, so it's even worse. The communication there is all over the place. Okay, enough of that. In Goodnovel, there are currently 2 competitions that are ongoing. So the one that you can see over here. Okay, so history are all the things that are gone and done, so you don't have to look at that. So this one just ended, the LGBT one, the Touch of Rainbow. It kind of was like extended, but I think the end date is kind of here. So the winners will be announced soon, and then there is this thing called the series, which is kind of like a bring back of old things. And then Love Conquers All is also something that they are bringing back because it was so highly popular last year when they launched it. So you have to decide for yourself if you want to do both platforms, or if you just want to choose one platform, because unlike Webnovel, when I said that you can't participate one book in 2 subgenres of a competition, here on Goodnovel you can. Okay, with terms and conditions applied. Can I not? No, I want to open this out to a different page. Okay, tell you what, I will open this first. Okay, this is the main competition. So like Webnovel, they are encompassing all different kind of genres. They highly recommend FL because that's where their paying readers are. But if you want to create ML like me, it is also possible. So this are entry rules, blah 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 blah. Basically, all genres are welcome, but they have a specific preference. So if you lie under the preference, that's great. So they have 6 categories. Each category will have its own price of first, second, and third. So they are actually more generous than web novel. Chances of you striking lottery with one of them is slightly higher, but the payout won't be as great because why? Web novels like, oh, we're giving you 10,000 USD, but they can only be one. In here on Goodnovel, it's like $2,000 for first prize, but you have 6 chances to be that 6 people to win $2,000. So I don't know, you decide. Alright, and then here these are like some of the timelines and whatever nots and their categories and stuff like that. So okay, this part here I want to highlight and thank Kat, aka Dame Butterfly, who is on my Discord server and a writer as well. She told me that she was going to enter, I don't know whether she's entering now, she might not have time, but there are 2 ongoing contests. So this one is the Carnival Contest, and in the Carnival Contest there is the series contest, so you can get prizes from both the contests if it matches. So let's take a look. This is the series contest. So series contest, there are a few. Basically there is this one over here, A Touch of Rainbow. It has the BL, and then it has to be Love After Marriage, it has to be Demons, it has to be Marriage, it has to be Billionaires. So this one's over here, like this one. Okay, this Slave, the alpha, is A Touch of Rainbow. It has to be BL as in boy love and werewolf, so it's very specific. If it just coincides with that, you can participate in genre carnival as well as the series. So this one is Born to a Demon King. It has to be demon royalty romance. So if you are writing demon royalty romance, you get a stand a chance for the series prize as well as the genre carnival prize, no limitations. Okay, take a look at all the contest dates though, because this one ends on 18th of July, while this one ends on 31st of December. Yeah, so these are the things that you can take a look and participate, decide which one you want to join. Right, so this is about Goodnovel. So the 6 specials that they actually have down here. First one is Billionaire, blah blah blah, Mafia, Paranormal. Okay, Paranormal is kind of like not just werewolves but anything else, aka, okay, when they say paranormal, it's either demons, and if it's not demons, it's gonna be vampire, although everything else still counts, but you know, 50% of them are gonna be demons and vampires. I just know this. It's just a good novel thing. And then YA and teen is kind of like a new thing. Web novel is also participating in this, so you can try. YA and teens used to be more of a Wattpad kind of genre, but they are poaching a lot of Wattpad writers who are not earning from Watties to come over. This is why this genre exists now. And then werewolves, this is a staple on Goodnovel, so if you're writing werewolves, know that the market is extremely saturated and every other book sounds about the same as every other book that everyone is writing. And then others, this is like basically everything else that you do not have on top, you can just put it here. It can be ML, it can be FL, it doesn't really matter. But I would recommend you to stick within what the Goodnovel readers are more comfortable reading with, so you have to catfish a little bit and compromise. So these are some of the contest rules. You can read it by yourself, so you need 60,000 words and blah blah blah. Okay, and Goodnovel is a little bit stricter compared to Webnovel because their covers cannot have like drugs, cannot have smoking, cannot have tattoos, cannot have nudity. Yeah, basically. So these are all the things. So you decide if you want to do a competition with Goodnovel or Webnovel, because I think both platforms have very attractive prices right now, and they are running concurrently, as you can see. So these are the competitions. So the writer benefits are a little bit different for Goodnovel and Webnovel. Webnovel, you can go to their website and see they have this very strict MGS thing. Okay, the thing about Goodnovel, if you sign an exclusive with them, they have these new schemes. So please read the terms and conditions. They have signing bonuses and they have this incremental. Can you see this thing? Completion bonus. Yeah, so they pay you when you sign, they pay you when you finish, and they pay you in between while you are doing it. So these are the word counts. And then they also pay you based on word counts. So yeah, you can earn staple money from this, but you need to be like a very crazy writing machine for it. This is Goodnovel. Any questions? Okay, let me just check. Okay, which method can help a new writer get the most promotion when views are the the objective more than money. Okay, if you want views, you must participate in a competition that has few participants. I would recommend, if you are writing a web novel, to join an appropriate WPC. It gives you more resources. Does that answer the question? So I can tell you very frankly that what I did when I first started was stupid. I wrote the ball of nothing. And I did not know that the competition had this thing called votes. So I did not do anything. But I learned from that mistake. And I eventually went on to create eGhost. I can just show you. eGhost did not have a lot of chapters there. My wife is an eGhost. It only had like 12 chapters, but it has close to 500 collections. All in the 2 weeks. 200 over collections in like 2 weeks of the competition itself. It was crazy. And look at the views. It's like, it's just there. It's like 12 chapters. Can you imagine? You write 10 chapters? It's not even like 10,000 words. Maybe 10,000 words. Probably not. About 10,000 words. 20,000 words at most. It wasn't even 20,000 words if I recall correctly. Okay, and it has this number of views because the competition allows you to have higher visibility. Like, a lot of people were writing it, a lot of people were voting for it, a lot of people were keeping tabs on it, and everybody was sharing it on social media back then, so they passed it around. Then they had this mass release events that you can participate in, because mass release means you'll be featured. There will always be a special feature slot for events like that by the platform itself. So if you sign up, your work will be featured, and it will be given a special feature that will not be hidden in view, like, overly saturated. If you go in the Webnovel app, everything is a feature. You want the best feature when you don't have to scroll and it appears in the reader's face on the first page. That is the feature you are looking for. Which is why I say you should aim to get a feature in something that is specific, or not this. For example, okay, I'm on desktop right now. I'm not on mobile, so I can't tell you where it is. The best feature slot is this weekly. But weekly feature is kind of picked by the marketing team, so you don't actually want this. What you want is not power feature either. These are for big players, okay? What you want is here. Where is it? I think it's under new tropes. These are the ones that have participated in like the WPC, and they will be featured here. If you are a winner, it will be featured here. It can also be featured under editor's choice, and the moment you sign on a contract, especially exclusive, you will be here under Rising Fictions for a while to help you build like a few hundred collections in a day, in like a week. That is how you get more readers. So you can go for the exclusive, it's faster, but you need to make sure that this exclusive idea will not affect your future plans to continue the world that you've built. That is my advice. If you just want views, this is what you do. Does that answer your question? On the other hand, Goodnovel is kind of like funky. So this is like the Goodnovel cancerous new backend platform. You can see views, subscribers, and their counting system is a little bit weird, so you might not see very high numbers here, which is fine. This though, I want to bring attention to this stat center. So one thing different about Goodnovel from Webnovel is this. There is this promotion thing. If you scroll down from here, there's this promotion thing whereby you can choose a book. For example, I say eGhost. Okay, and then they will tell you how many views are there based on the promotion that they give you. eGhost has not gotten any promotion, so it's fine. Let's go to something that has. Okay, say God for the World. This is the ML book. So these are the views that you've gotten, and these are the dates and the places that they actually put you on. These are the promotions, so you can gauge for yourself if your readers like this kind of work. So this is one thing about Goodnovel compared to Webnovel. So Webnovel counts views as, if you click in, it counts as one view. If you refresh, it counts as one view. But Goodnovel, you have to click, you have to scroll, you have to stay on the same page for like a certain amount of time before it considers itself a view. Does that answer the question? If there are no more questions about this thing, then I will move on to the last platform for tonight, which is this story writing. So story writing is a combination of Ringdom as well as Dreame. So now they've combined everything here. So under managed stories, this is my account by the way. Okay, it's not very great, so you can see all these things here. And they will post it accordingly to the different kinds of platforms that they manage, the best suited for the genre text that you choose for your book. So Dreamy Ace Contest in here, it's in progress. Dreamy Love Story Contest, it's in progress. So you can just click on it and go and see their terms and condition. Likely it will be the same thing. It will be the same darn thing as your exclusive and non-exclusive contracts, because when I signed Ringdom's contract, it was the same. It's by the same company. It's gonna be it's gonna be the same thing. So yeah, so these are the durations and these are the stages and these are your whatever commitments and stuff like that. You can read it. So books that can join the content, so they limited by language as well. So English, Philippine, Indonesian, Spanish. Okay, so Dreamy is a little bit more friendly to like the Southeast Asian community, which is great. Except if you're Thai, because it clearly says here Thai books do not have the above requirements. So they support some, they don't support some. They are expanding actually, so you can decide if Dreamy is more of your thing. Dreamy is very much in need of quality content. A lot of content there fall below the actual quality stuff. I would say in comparison, Goodnovel has a little bit better and Webnovel is a mix. So the reason why Goodnovel is slightly better is because there are a lot of writers who are self-published who come on to Goodnovel itself. They are like third-rate Amazon publishers, self-publishers, kind of. Yeah, they are at least self-published level. So this is like another one for Dreamy itself based on Starry's writing. So they are also, can you see, it's similar to the dates. All major writing competitions on any of these three platforms usually coincide with each other for some reason, because they want to make writers choose. So you gotta decide what kind of things you're looking for. So you can just take a look here. Okay, when they say this $60,000, okay, and like $40,000 published paperback, it may be real, it may be legitimate and everything, but yeah, we have no idea actually, because I've not joined. I have joined Ringdom and I've won $1,000 for like best plot. I did a stream for this before and I wrote a blog about it. So the $1,000 is legit, but they are like extremely late for the payment. And if you don't ask them for it, they will forget about it conveniently. Yeah, so that's kind of like the thing. So when they say promotion stuff, yeah, it does work, but it kind of doesn't work because they did promote me for like a year, but nobody came and nobody paid attention, so it's kind of not useful. Speaking for Ringdom, not for Dreamy, but Dreamy is like a Red Sea as well, so you can take a look at all these things and join if you want to join. Right, so I think this is it for Starry as well. I will be taking questions now. Alright, so I have another question here. How often does Webnovel change the contract terms? Okay, I have no idea because I don't work there. It's usually fixed unless somebody does something huge to violate a policy and uses their loophole against them. Like, I can't remember, but it's a few years back. Okay, a few years back, one of the top writers actually signed this exclusive contract with Webnovel that became like a Webnovel superstar, and then they stopped contracting exclusively with Webnovel and took their fan base out of it to publish for themselves on Amazon. And they did really well. And Webnovel clearly wasn't happy with it because they helped. So they have now included a new term that any sort of publication, including paperback on Amazon, is not allowed. If like the profits, the author cannot take it like solely. Yeah, that is like one of the new thing. I can't remember, but there are a lot of these kind of cases that happen. So when it does happen, Webnovel will add a new clause or modify existing contract clauses. So it depends on what you sign and when you sign. So it's very good for you to have a copy after you sign it. Now it's all signed electronically, so yeah. And by the way, they still have not given me my contract, printed contract for Webnovels. My last year's Monarch of Solitude, so I can show you. If you go here, this is Inkstone, which is Webnovel's backend system. I am supposed to have like a contract thing, but I don't have it because I don't know why. Okay, so I'm actually supposed to got it. Okay, so you can actually see things like the status and whatever not. Okay, I was supposed to have this contract thing. I don't know where the contract's like. No, not this. This one. Is it this one? No, it's under here. Contracts, yeah. Yeah, this one. Okay, so I have signed it, but they did not give me this contract for like the freaking longest time. So now I can. Okay, which I'm not gonna show you because I'm not allowed to show you. But now I can. So this thing takes like super long to process. Just saying. You don't actually know what you're signing, and if you do not make a copy before you hit send, you will have no clue what they are saying. And you have no rights to argue for yourself. You're just basically a writing slave. Does that answer the question? Any other questions? I want to finish answering everything as much as I can today before I end the stream. It's been a long time. It's like an hour. I've been talking for an hour. Any questions? I've covered all the three major platforms, the pros and cons, and all the resources on my blog that you can help yourself with. Okay, I think I've answered all the questions that you might have. E. I don't know how to pronounce his name on Discord, unfortunately. But yeah. So these are like some of the basics and what you're getting into if you're a new writer. Cherish G, thank you for coming as well. So I was thinking of, creating a free e-course based on all the blogs that I've created so far. If you find something missing from my blog that you want to know and I have not covered before, please let me know and I will try to cover it. I need to find a way to organize the contents on my blog for free e-course material so that new writers can check it out and like teach themselves. But I need help. I can't do this alone. I have no time. Yeah, so I'll keep the content coming weekly. Don't worry about that. So with that, I think I shall end the stream right now. Thanks all for joining. I hope it's been helpful and worth your time. It's been way too long. I should get back to writing.